Right, so hello again. This is just going to be a fairly quick video. As I said, sort of in my initial video, I've been looking very much at sort of the kit that you can sort of buy, and I've been watching sort of prepping videos for quite a while now. Sort of SHTF, which is obviously ships hitting the fan. Slightly different wordplay on that one. An inch bag, so I'm never coming home. Then you've got bugging in or bugging out, which is generally you either stay in your location with all of your stuff that you've gathered, or you literally decide on somewhere that you're going to get to, and for whatever purpose, and you're going to hold up there until it sort of flies over. Um, I think this situation, I think one thing you need to mentally be prepared for is life might never be the same again. The world might not uh, bounce back. And I think from ancient civilizations generally, um, you know, generally the biggest things that have sort of stayed together still are stone things like the pyramids, which are much older really than what they make out. So sort of technologies being lost, and generally civilization being pushed back, you know, thousands and thousands of years. Um, but hopefully there's things you can do which are gonna really help things bounce back quicker, and obviously try and give you some sort of life still. Um, so this is a list. It's not my complete list because I've got so much stuff now that um, I haven't put it all down, and some things on here I don't have, like sort of a blood transfusion set, because I thought, well, I don't know my own blood type. How are you going to do that to someone else? Sort of you need to be sort of trained and medical on that. So sort of rumbling down. I'll do it by category actually. That's probably the best way. So first of all, like communication. So sort of two-way radios, uh, books, maps. Um, yeah, maps of where you are, where you might need to be getting to, depending on if you're in a safe location already, if you feel it's safe, or not. Uh, Compass. Yeah, 'cause obviously you need to know direction. Might not work with what's coming up very well. Um, why definitely having maps and a plan in place is good. Survival books. Just making sure that because me, like probably most people, do not have the time as it stands at the moment with our you know sort of lemming lifestyle of go to work, come home, have a few hours of collapsing, doing whatever before going back to work again. Just don't have the time. So obviously reading, having books ready to learn the skills, hopefully in time. Um, Generally just everything you can think of. I've got like data dongle, so I've literally got it in my hand at the moment. I've got hundreds, probably a few hundred different sort of books of all sorts. Even down to I'll, I'll I'll cover that in another video. I think 'cause there's quite a bit in there, but generally everything you could ever think to sort of try and put on a data stick. Right, so sort of DIY duct tape, handy for everything. I think, well, if there's no power, hand drill. There you go. You could still drill a hole somewhere, and sort of build something. Hatchets, so wood, just chopping things up. 20 mil pipes. There's a guy called Practical Prepper, I think it is. He's sensible prepper that literally shows like 20 uses for this, that, the other, and like plastic piping, building greenhouses, and like bows and arrows, super glue. You know, if you need to build like a just a very temporary bunker while this happens, there you go. Get some cement, and sort of there we go. I've ranked these as priority as to what you really need, and what's more of a luxury. Also that then also ranks as, if you do need to go somewhere else, what you're going to take first, and if you can come back, what you're going to come back and get next, and keep doing trips to sort of wherever. Right, so electricity, so a very big one. So all the cable adapters, um, rechargeable batteries for torches and everything. If you've got days of darkness, you're going to need batteries, uh, candles, um, sort of getting extra car batteries or taking them out of cars afterwards, charge controllers, everything. So you could literally build your own little solar power system. Just got a little 40 watt setup in the garden, and it's just brilliant because literally I just charge everything off of that now, sort of battery wise. Yeah, fantastic, free energy, be it the initial outlay. Water turbines, wind turbines, nothing like that yet. They're more expensive and a bit more intrusive, really. Uh, sort of laptops, phones, just all the different sort of charging things that you could sort of possibly, sort of think to have, and think of your requirements, now, and think what you might sort of want to be running. You know, just sort of think of it that way generally. Mine's generally sort of tablets for the kids, really, and keeping them sort of happy and entertained. All those sort of things going on. Right, food. That is generally the big one. Food and water. Um, I think Sensible Prepper said again, sort of rule of threes. You can last 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. You can't last at all without sort of hope. Right, so top of my list there at the moment is beer kit. I've not got one of them yet. I think I've got a wine kit as well on here. That sort of thing. Feel free to pause the video as well at any point and have a look through. Sort of the ration packs. You don't need to spend a fortune on food. In this country, you've got sort of places like Home Bargains and stuff where you can buy, like a pouch of curry that will last a year or so for 80p. Buy a pre-cooked microwave rice bag for 50p, and there you go. Literally just boil it up quickly in a pan of water, and boom, there you go. You've got an MRE kit effectively. So if you do need to get somewhere, energy bars, sort of milk powder, seeds. That is a very big one. I think sort of days of darkness, potential, volcanic activity. You're not going to be able. Things might die off. So if you've got the seeds, you can plant it back down once it's gone over, and you can, maybe not. Obviously it's got to be region specific as to sort of what you buy as well. I found potatoes, literally just a shop bought potatoes. You leave them for a few weeks afterwards, and they start sprouting. You don't need to spend £3-4 on a bag of potato seeds, which is just literally a bag of potatoes. Runner beans as well, they grow fantastic, and sweet corn as well, which is why I'm not really surprised that they're sort of, very much there in sort of supermarkets. Tin food. So think of all different tin foods you can get, and how long they can last for. Rice and pasta. That is like your sort of bread and butter, really, especially white rice, which I think it can store up to 10 years anyway, or more. Some people say 20. Stored in a dry, cool place. And there you go. And literally somewhere like Tesco here in the UK, 45p for a kilo of white rice. Tasteful, right? And there you go. At that price you could buy 50 kilos, and it costs the earth anyway. Things like sort of compost bins. Just are you literally gonna, if you are gonna go somewhere else, pick up your barbecue, collapse it and sort of take it with you as well. Obviously that's quite high up the list, because obviously you can just cook over an open fire and stuff anyway. Sort of scales for weighing foods, and obviously all your pots and pans and your cutlery, sort of the ready oats. They're literally like in this country you can buy bags of like Mornflake ones again from Home Bargains. I think it's like 50p for 500 grams, and all you got to do is add hot water, and they last a good year as well. Yeah, at that price, there you go. At least one of the key things with food is definitely variation, because you really do not want to just eat rice and rice and rice, because you'll literally get so horrendously depressed from it. After a few weeks, that you'll probably be happier just to not be around anymore. Um, got things like vitamins. 'Cause you don't want a deficiency of your main A's and B's and C's and D's, and whichever ones. At least if you've got a balance of just multivitamins, again, pick them up really cheap for big tubs, and there you go. You just literally store them away. Uh, yeah, noodles. So in America, I think it's the ramen noodles. Over here, it's just like super noodles or sort of Maggie's sort of noodles. And again, dirt cheap, and um, you know, high in energy content. You can eat them dry. You can boil them up. You can boil them in all sorts of various different ways, shapes, and forms. So there you go. Really, really good one that is. Um, yeah, and again, super cheap, and lasts a good year or so. So there you go. You can then just stick it into your stock and recycle it. Rat traps. There you go. Nice, easy little one. Stick a bit of cord through it as well. So if you snap it on a rat's head or a rabbit or something, it doesn't decide to go bouncing off through a hedge with your rat trap stuck on its head. Showing its mates its new hat. It's not really going to be too helpful to you or the poor little furry creature that you've tried to kill but haven't quite succeeded in. Gas stove and canisters. You can just buy a little gas stove for about £7 or £8 in the UK. 4 canisters for like £4 of gas. So you can stock up on that if you want that as your main means. Obviously, eventually that sort of thing's gonna run out, but at least in the initial aftermath, especially, having as many different ways to be able to do the same job is the key. Because if you've literally just got a lighter, you're stuffed, because what you're going to do if it runs out of gas or it gets wet or the gas leaks out, you're doomed. You've got like fire sticks, matches, magnifying glasses. It's all about redundancy. I've got like the MRE foods. You can get them on eBay for the UK. I think just over £2 a pouch actually. I've made sure I've got I think just like pasta and meatballs. 'Cause one, the life on it was the longest, and two, I know it's something that everyone will eat. So that's ready for the bug out bag and just be chucked in. And I've got like the flameless ration heaters. So there you go. One way of food in the bug out bag, and sort of tea and coffee and stuff as well. It's literally all about making sure you've got lots of different variety. Knowledge. Don't know why communication's got the. There you go. So some different sort of books. I've even bought a whittling book as well. I don't actually have a knife that will do that job though. Gardening books, so how to sort of plant things, rocks and minerals. So you've got a knife on you now, and you're going to keep sharpening it, and eventually it's going to wear down to the nub. But if oh, that rock there, which is a bit ready, that's an iron ore rock, and I can use that, and I can smelt that down. And there you go. I can literally, you can start going through all the knowledge that you've literally kept. Then there you go. Sort of saving seeds and stuff, because everything that grows, if you're buying a pack of seeds for tomatoes, uh, how does that regrow? Well, it's just seeds in the tomato, isn't it? I literally had some cherry tomatoes and sort of left them slightly too long, started going wrinkly. Thought I'll just literally pop them in the mud in the garden, and literally out of about 6 or 7, you know, one of them's growing quite well at the moment. Probably a bit too late in the season now for growing properly, but there you go. Yeah, leftover onion. Literally stuck that in the ground. And yet to see what that's doing though. But it's growing some lovely greenery out the top of it. So knowledge is key. Know where things like mines are. You know, because if there's mines already in place near you, you know, quarries. There you go. You've already got something nearby, which is a source of something that you could use, like medical and hygiene. So medical really is a big one because uh, with what's going to happen, there's just you know, I've never seen a dead person or someone dying. And touch wood. I wish I'd never have to. I'm going to one day, so I will do. Um, but it's something you don't want to see. But you know, you have to be prepared for that mentally. But since this one is on kit, uh, with all the sort of different things that you could need, so sort of burn dressings. So I forgot what it is. I think it's aloe vera or something like that. Sort of within the stuff. You can get like Celux or Quick Clot, two different brands of effectively a bandage with sort of chemicals in that, you know, effectively clot your blood up quicker and, you know, stop you bleeding to death. Um, Emergency dentist filling kit. You know, if you've got a filling, what are you going to do in the aftermath? You're going to have to pull your tooth out. You know, instead of doing that, you know, get a little filling kit. You know, scrape out and, you know, little little inspection kit and stuff, and do what you can with it. I think that should be flannel. So you know, just one of the little teeny tiny flannels. Full first aid kit. Little pocket first aid book as well. So that's just a little teeny tiny one just for out in the field. Just for like the extra knowledge as well. Should really have one of them in the first aid kits actually. Sort of hand sanitizers, foot treatment for blisters. Sort of preparation is the key to half this really. All different medicines that you can think of. Yeah, just start stocking up because things like, you know, if you go to the shops, paracetamol, you know, you buy 2 boxes, and because of the heavy fairy world we live in that bubble wrap you, and obviously people are daft enough that they accidentally do top themselves and things, but you know, you're only allowed to buy 2 boxes of paracetamol at a time, you know, or aspirin, or you know, ibuprofen, you know, at once. So yeah, start buying like, you know, a couple of boxes at a time. Your shopping's literally like 25p a box of paracetamol, and there you go. Before you know it, you can have hundreds of them, stored away quite easily, and I'd quite happily trust them past their sell by date if literally I had nothing else to use. Not got things like nuclear sickness tablets, but obviously if you live near nuclear power stations, it could be a huge fallout anyway. You know, it might all be in vain, literally. That sort of thing happens, but who knows? Like portable toilet. I've bought a thing called a luggable loo, which is, yeah, like a bucket with a toilet lid on. And I've literally rammed that full with toilet rolls, and I've stuck a bag of just bin bags in with it as well. So then there you go. At least you've got a bit of comfort for a little bit of time. You know, if you take it with you, and you know, you just put it into the bin bags, and there you go. Sort of move it out. Yeah, sort of use it as sort of a composting toilet. You could do as well. You know, chuck bits and pieces in to keep the smell down, etc. And you know, really fill up those bags, and you know, just use it for number twos. Prescriptions. You know, if you've got anything where you 100% rely on medication, um, really start stocking up. And I don't know, make, so I would say sort of make your peace really. Should all be making our peace anyway. But if if you need medication and without it, you know, you will die, then it's going to happen from this. Sorry to say. generally the bottom line of it. We'll move on though. But yeah, stock up. So I've got like asthma, and I'm sure I could generally live without it, especially if the air's cleaner afterwards anyway. But you know, in the interim, stock up as best as you can. You know, if you get a prescription every 3 or 4 months, get one every 2 to 3 months. Start building it up. You know, so you've got a surplus sort of there available. Um, right, solar shower. So there you go. Have a shower afterwards, because obviously if there's no hot water and you've got to do fires or lakes, whatever, at least on like a solar shower is very helpful for that. And also you can use it as a, I think the one I've got is 20 litre. There you go. Yeah, use it as a water storage as well. Things like sunscreen, toilet roll, toothpaste. Not quite sure what the traps are. Uh, have a look online for like the trauma kits and the refills and all sort of things like that. You can get travel johns, if you're a man, just stand up, and do it sort of wherever, near enough. Things like washing up liquid antibiotics. That's one that's really hard to sort of effectively come by. You can actually grow your own penicillin. Um, Look it up. I think you sort of do it from like meat to bread or something like that in the containers, and you can literally grow it. So yeah, give that a try. What I've ordered is stuff called fish mox, which is amoxicillin, effectively pharmaceutical grade amoxicillin, um, which there you go, cheaper than sort of the human brand, and sort of effectively should have enough for about 5 doses of antibiotics, um, which should last a good long time realistically. And again, it's literally just an SHTF use. You're not going to use it when you go to the doctors and get something, but at least it's there ready now. Sort of kitchen cloths. I look through, because when it comes to first aid, knowledge is key. There's no point having anything if you don't know what the hell you're doing with it. So luckily I've sort of had a sort of first aid course through work. Obviously get refreshed on that every 3 years. But I thought, well, what would be something really helpful in NHS clinical services ambulance, but pretty much the book of all the information for being like effectively an ambulance technician. It goes through everything, and you sit there and read through or dig out what you need to, and obviously it's got step by steps. It's even got like medicines to administer and things like that. So that's absolutely critical. Generally sort of ingesting diarrhea and stuff, because especially if you do need to get somewhere and you're going to be living on water that you're not really used to, since everyone generally lives on chlorinated water. There you go. So, soaps, aspirin, paracetamol, sort of lip balm, and so many of these things have more than one use as well. There you go. There's the dental one. I've got Denseal DIY dentist filling. So that's only got it on there twice. But yeah, have a look for that. I think they're about £20, something like that. But it'll do 30 fillings, permanent fillings. So obviously you don't really want to play around with it unless you need to. Face masks. I haven't got on there at the moment. Glasses. So I've ordered some cycling glasses because they'll be dual purpose. Insect repellent. Also think like mosquito nets. That sort of thing as well. Right, on to the next. Personal. Right, so depending on I don't know my sewing kit's there actually. So literally, for the kids, toys, games. If they've got their favourite teddies. Uh, Obviously things that you can carry, you could stick in their rucksacks, unless you are where you plan to be, sort of thing. It's unfortunately not in my plan. So things that will give them comfort, things that will give you comfort. sort of books you could possibly read, possibly games on your phone, as long as you can keep it charged. Board games, books, pen, pencils, crayons, Sudoku, whatever really. Just things that you can sort of use in that sense. Protection. Um, Obviously, you want to believe there's the best in everyone, really do. Obviously, it doesn't happen. And if you wander through somewhere and you're wandering through all jolly and happy, you've got 500 bags of rice and trundling along, and someone is starving, they might stop and ask you for some of your food. They might just go, right, well, I don't care, I'm just going to throw rocks, kill you, whatever, because I'm hungry. And this isn't just protection, this is also, it's quite a broad area, this one. So bows and arrows, protection and hunting, depending on where you are. You might have, I don't know, deers or bigger wild game and stuff that you could literally hunt. Got things like fire blankets, fire extinguishers. 'Cause if you are in your location, you plan to stay. If this happens, if it's 200-mile-an-hour winds or meteors or fires and this and that, literally wipe out everything you've got anyway. So just things like that. Try and sort of stop it. Definitely needed. Money, you know, bartering, get cigarettes. Just things for bartering for things if you need other things. Obviously, if you've gone through this sort of list and you've prepared, then you should generally be in a better state than most people. Sort of pellet air pistols. Again, that's slingshots. That's protection slash sort of hunting as well. You can use it for both. Everything should have more than one purpose as well, really. Like shelters. Right, so there's a lot there. Right, so obviously you might have to make your own shelter. So axes. I think I've quite categorised everything here properly. Sort of, as I said, some of them are definitely dual category, like biomass sort of slash log stove. So heat, cooking, etc. So you can use it in your shelter for various things there. Depending on where you are, where you're trying to get to, do you want to be seen? I don't. I want to get to where I'm going to be going as quietly and as quickly as possible. And if I do have to not be in my vehicle, next plan is push bikes, and then it'll be walking after that. So I'm going to be walking on push bikes. Some camera gear, you might not blend in fully, but at least you can take the back roads and stuff to track and stay out of the way if it is going that way. Cotton wool balls, things like that, tinder, effectively. Dry bags just for keeping stuff in. Into your fishing, get a fishing suit, obviously you can stay dry. Think time of year and stuff as well. If you're planning on never coming back, you want clothing for all seasons, realistically. So you want some winter clothes, hats and gloves and stuff, but you also want maybe some shorts and t-shirts as well. Obviously, more clothes you can carry, the better. Sort of tarpaulins for depending on what sort of shelter sort of format you go for. Depending on where you are, a lot of bug out things they have. Everyone's favourite system is a hammock and a tarp over the top and fly nets and stuff. It's not going to work very well in the desert, is it? So obviously, things have got to be adapted to where you are. Right, knife sharpener. There's no point in having a blunt knife or axe. So obviously, like a grinding stone as well, that sort of thing. Multi-tools. Things like a pencil sharpener. You can sharpen sticks. You can sharpen, the bits you shave off. You can use as tinder. Sort of everything here has more than one use. Shimog. You've got camouflage shimogs, and you can use them on your head to keep the sun off. You can filter your water through it. generally things like that. Candles. Obviously, if you get something like a beeswax candle, you could potentially eat it, use it as lubricants, that sort of thing. I've just been buying masses of tea candles. So I think I've got about 800 tea candles now. So that's enough for quite a bit of light. And you think that's not just light, but that's also a very slight source of warmth as well. So again, everything's got more than potentially one use, which is what you need. Um, Obviously, bug out bags, so I've been getting better ones, them Ziploc bags and little electrical bags, things like that. You don't need to go crazy on what you need to buy as such to keep your stuff dry. If you sort of throw it all and that sort of thing, it's, you can stick it away and keep it dry in your bags. So many things that you can just sort of find and you sort of keep picking up things that can have so many more uses and um, sort of there you go. Um, so yeah, that's the shelter list, and obviously there you go. Right, next one. Right, so transport. Right. So as I said, my initial aim is to get to where I need to go. Um, so from the way I currently predict it, uh, you might be getting to a point where you get diesel, petrol shortage. So have some spare canisters of diesel or petrol. Have enough to get to where you need to go. On top of keeping your vehicle topped up as well anyway, so that you've got enough, and if you do need to make more than one trip, you've potentially got enough to do that. It could take shed loads longer to get to where you want to go anyway. Um, think of it when there's traffic jams or an accident on something like a motorway or a highway, and it just takes one smash, and you can sit there for hours, potentially your engine running, just doing nothing, and that is a real concern of mine. Um, a week or so ago, drove past like a festival at night time, and it was just a huge mass exodus of people walking on the road. Again, you could barely go speed wise, and looking at the amount of people that didn't even take a torch with them down this dark road in the countryside, invisible to cars, and literally just not prepared. And it's like, oh my god, yeah, and that's just an exodus from like a festival. It's like it could potentially be a lot worse than that on everywhere if people think they need to get somewhere. Uh, I think for most people they're just gonna sit where they are because they're not gonna know. Um, so bear that sort of thing in mind. So make sure you've got lots of fuel. Um, Depending on your elevation, I sort of, was thinking like bike trailers or car trailers, that sort of thing, or like the bags. That get as much on your vehicle at once as you can if you do need to get somewhere. If you're where you are, effectively you can skip this section. But something like push bikes. Um, think of future transport. Push bikes, they don't rely on anything but your energy, and you can get quite away on a push bike. Um, Not you don't need to be majorly in shape to just slowly chug along on a bike. So think of it as not just pre but also post. Think of like the excess things you might need for that: inner tubes, um, foot pump, manual foot pump to pump it up, your tyres, and the tools you might need to repair your bike. Um, Make sure you have all of those things with you if you do need to move, and if you don't, yeah, there you go, have them. Something like life rafts and dinghies, and you know, or even a potential zorbing ball. I think with a 600-foot tsunami, I don't think it's really going to help with water pressure. But if it's slowly rising, something like a life raft or a dinghy, there you go. Especially like a life raft, you can get them on eBay for as little as £100. be it that you might need some testing and things like that. But there you go. No, I have not got one of them. But it's ideas, and that's what's needed. Right, water. Right, so as the rules go, 3 days water, 3 weeks food, 3 minutes air, that sort of thing. If you've got no water stored, or you've got no way of obtaining water, then you're already doomed. So think about your water storage. Think of resiliency here as well. And think about how you're going to purify it. There's quite a few different ways you can do it. So let's run down this list. So first of all, 20 litre water container. It's nice and big, and I've got water purification tablets. That one of them will purify 20 to 25 litres of water. There you go. Fill it up, drop one in, boom. There you go. Obviously, you want to filter out all debris. It won't filter out like sort of things like animal feces or oil or that sort of thing. Use some sense on that. But there you go. Bleach. 1 to 2 drops of bleach. Within a litre of water, and there you go. Leave it a while, and you've got fresh water. So having a lot of bleach is a good thing. It does more than you think. Obviously, it's put in the water anyway, to purify it. So there you go. So you think a few litres of bleach, and you've got a lot of clean water there. Obviously, you can boil water. There you go. Bring it up to temperature. It doesn't need to be boiling for ages. Just bring it up to temperature till it's boiling, and there you go. Obviously, you do need to filter out debris and that sort of thing. Condoms, great for water storage. You think they're designed for effectively human consumption in some shape or form. But there you go. There's one good use for them. Fill them up with water. Big water bombs. There you go. Hydration packs, life straws, which you can stick on bottles, or you can just stick in a puddle and drink it. Yippee. I think water barrels. I've got one for the garden now. 100 litre water butt. That's the same as a water barrel, isn't it? And there you go. You can collects all the time, and it fills up, and there you go. You've got loads of water there. Obviously the water purification tablets. So I've got a mix of ones for 1 litres or 20 to 25 litres. The 20 to 25 litres you can get very cheap still at the moment. So I've got enough for about 8,000 litres of water, which sounds a lot, but for 5 people, if it was just for our family, 5 people, they say effectively a gallon or 4 litres of water a day. So that's 20 litres of water for a family of 5 in a day. Because obviously you've got to think washing, cooking, cleaning, food prep, drinking. It's not just the drinking. You've got your food, your cleaning. Obviously you could get away with less. If you're trying to get somewhere, you're going to be probably using more water. There you go. 80 litre water carriers. I've found these on eBay. They're effectively built for like a wheelbarrow. Again, like about £8. A fairly effective way of, if you know where you are, and staying there literally. Boom. Okay, fill them up. You can get obviously water containers of various sizes. You can get the collapsible ones as well. So I've got quite a few 5 and 10 litre ones. So you can sort of top them up and think of the different ways that you can gather water as well. Doesn't necessarily need to be from from a river or a stream. You could use the sea and use desalination. So I've got that at the bottom. Not got one of them. So that's a real horrendously bad way of getting it anyway. Think of plants. If you've got a Ziploc bag, stick it over some leaves, and there you go. Walk through a field of dew with your, some rags and stuff tied behind your feet, and keep wringing them out into a bottle. Um, get a tarpaulin when it's raining, and literally angle it down one way so it collects. You know, so many. Let your imagination run wild with what you can do. But those are general ways that I've been looking at. So eggs are not all in one basket. I've got 4 different ways of sort of purifying my water, and obviously always have more than one. So what else we've got left? The blanks. So these are the ones I've not got around to yet. Just not many actually. So defibrillator. Obviously they cost a lot. But I'll move on to something else in a minute. Faraday cage. If you're going to get EMP pulses, magnetic shift of the poles, you can have all the electronics in the world. If you've got them on at the time and it all gets frazzled, yippee, you've got nothing, have you? You're just gonna have, and don't think it doesn't happen because what is it? Solar flares that come off the sun. Obviously, they rank them as to how bad they can be, but I think it was like in the 19th sort of century, they had a huge solar flare and literally melted lots of wires and took down communications. I think it's America or something like that, or melted telegraph pole wires and stuff. So shielding. So have a look into that sort of thing. Obviously, it needs to be 100% shielding and wrapped round. So that sort of thing. So around the time this is sort of happening, make sure your electronics off and sort of Faraday cage them, sort of bury them in the ground. Anything you want to keep, make sure it's not going to get blown away by the wind. Potentially just bury it just lightly in the ground where you can come back to it afterwards. The amoxicillin, the fish mox, sort of gone over that one already. Should be stamped with amoxi, sort of 250 or 500 on the side. Effectively, if it's pharmaceutical grade, you need it. There you go. I forgot salt as well. That was a new one I've added. Just because obviously salt's quite hard to come by, and obviously when you sweat and stuff, you lose your salts and things like that. And obviously you get salts from things like meats and stuff like that, so you ain't going to get it from plants naturally. So there you go. It's probably a good one to sort of also carry. So yeah, that is my general list of everything there. Food prep I've not got to yet. Dry foods, so sort of rice, pasta. Pasta stores up to like 7 years as well. So pasta, porridge. I've got some flour as well. 'Cause it's fun making your own bread and get some yeast, and you don't need a fancy bread maker. Granted, it doesn't come out quite as fluffy, but it makes some awesome breadsticks. And there you go. It's just variation, just to boost your morale. Seeds. Seeds really depend on your area, what you actually like to eat. There's no point buying jalapeno peppers or jalapeno peppers if you don't like them. You might want lots of grapes for lots of wine. Good idea, that one. Might have to put some beer ingredients down as well. But literally, you can get a jar, get some of the what is it, the silica sachet sort of things to keep the moisture out, and have a look at line where you can store things. Obviously, sort of freezing them or put them in the fridge makes them last even longer still. Or do some gardening, recycle them. Probably don't really have much longer left anyway, so don't make much difference. But obviously, make sure you got a lot of seeds, because initially you're going to need to do 2 things with them: grow and regrow. Because no point having some jalapeno seeds and literally growing them, eating them and going, I can't have them again now. You need to replant them. That is why Saving Seeds book is a good one. So yeah, there's my general ideas, and again, think of some of the things that these are used for. Think like animal husbandry. You know, if you've got some chickens or something, there you go. But yeah, think of like different purposes, like sunflowers. You know, not that's a big pretty flower. Sunflower oil. There you go. Wheatgrass. There you go. Bread. You know, grind up some flour. You know, make your own flour and stuff. In wheat form, it's actually got a lot more energy from it anyway. Sort of all the different vegetables and different easy ones like runner beans that just grow like anything, and then the bits and pieces needed around it. So it's quite a long list I've got there. Think sort of, think around the time. Make sure you've got a lot of these things, fresh fruity sort of things in your house. Maybe, literally every time you eat an apple, save the seeds. Just literally, store them in a little pile. And there you go. I did try grow your own mushroom kit. It didn't grow too well. Bit good with that really. Things like little cherry tomatoes and stuff, or potatoes, or anything that's got seeds in, that sort of thing. Literally, you know, have some to hand if you use them a lot, and just literally then, if it does hit the fan, take them with you to plant rather than eat. Or if you've got a cherry tomato, and literally, get all the seeds out and that sort of thing. So yeah, there you go. So that is my video on sort of kit list. As I said, I've got a lot more things on there. Just things like fire, which isn't actually on here. So I've got a few different things actually. Right, so fire making, fire good, gives warmth, boils water, creates light, creates smoke to keep bugs away. Uh, Brilliant, real morale booster. But if you can't light one, yeah. So the ways I've got for lighting fires is fire steels, fairly inexpensive, and they last lots of strikes. Um, uh, Windproof sort of waterproof matches, or just buy regular sort of strike anywhere sort of cook matches, and stick them in something waterproof. Make sure everything stays very dry. Lighters, so there you go, up to 3 already. Fourth, so get something like a magnifying glass. I think I've got some, it's called a parabolic lighter or something like that. It's effectively like a concave mirror, which again, like a magnifying glass, magnifies it into one spot. So you could stick your tins on it and get that going, and then pop that into your fire. Obviously, things like your camping stoves, you could use that for ignition and for fire and getting things going, especially like in the short term. Then you've got the other ones like the bows. So sort of spin the bows and then getting your tinder really really hot and smoking and smouldering, and then blowing on it into your fire to get that going. So there's so many different ways of making fire, and look at the different fire techniques as well. Look at the Dakota fire pit. Obviously, you've got to dig a hole in the ground, but because of the efficiency, it doesn't burn as much smoke, so it's pretty invisible even at night time, which might pose a problem if you go for a pee and forget where you're going. But have a look at the different fire types as well, and have a look at your different stove types. So like little biomass stoves. So just think of all the different ways. I haven't really covered knives and axes and stuff, or folding saws, that sort of thing. Make sure you've got different ways of chopping up wood. Something like a big sort of big knife's going to be very handy for splitting logs, getting bark off trees, all sorts. It's pretty much the main tool if you needed one that would save you, because you could literally chop down things and build shelters, sort of cut up your food and that sort of thing. So all those sorts of things. Right, so I think I've probably rabbited on long enough in this video now. We'll get round to pulling all of my kit out, presenting it in a logical way, and the reasons as to why as well. Because I think you need to see half of this stuff to really sort of appreciate what it could potentially do, sort of in any situation. So there we go. Please leave your sort of comments and stuff below. Happy trolls as well, as long as it's constructive. Anything you think potentially I've missed off, what would be very, very helpful. I guess things like ham radios, and there's always more communication ways. Please leave them below. This is, everyone's situation is different, and I've tailored this to mine and my family's. Also trying to think of immediate family as to where I shall potentially be bugging out to. But everyone's situation is different. You might be sat in one location and you're not going to move, so you might be really rich as well. You might be able to build a bunker. You might be able to buy a diesel electric generator and 50,000 gallons of diesel or something. You might be able to get yourself completely off grid with solar and wind power. And have all the water storage in the world that you need. And with all of this stuff as well, the other key thing is thinking, it's here today. If a 200-mile-an-hour wind comes along tomorrow with a pole shift, is it still going to be there? Potentially